Ever feel like mountains are more than just pretty backdrops? Like they have this deeper energy, maybe even ancient secrets hidden within them?
Yeah, it's like this powerful presence.
Exactly. Today's deep dive gets a little mystical as we explore that very idea.
Oh, this is going to be good. We're not talking about just like any old hiker's intuition here, are we?
Not exactly. We're drawing from a lecture by a Mayan spiritual teacher, Maestro Kinich Ahau.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Maestro definitely implies some serious wisdom.
Right. So tell me more about this Kinich Ahau fellow. Who is he?
Well, his name translates to priest of the solar face, which immediately makes me think of sun gods and ancient rituals.
Wow, priest of the solar face. That's an image right there.
It's pretty cool, right? And it gets even more interesting. He's believed to be connected to ancient Mayan lineages, possibly even involved in the construction of Teotihuacan.
Wait, Teotihuacan. As in those massive pyramids in Mexico, the ones dedicated to the sun and the moon.
Those are the ones.
Wow, that's a site shrouded in mystery, even for archaeologists. So
Yeah.
much we still don't know about it.
Exactly. So we're tapping into a source that's a little outside the box, which I've got to say always makes our deep dives more interesting. And according to Master Kinich Ahau, mountains aren't just geological formations. He describes them as, get this, antennas for the Earth.
Antennas. So picking up signals, transmitting energy. What kind of energy are we talking about here?
He doesn't really get into specifics, but he talks about these focal points for powerful forces. Forces that we might not fully understand that connect to the deeper layers of the Earth, something beyond what we can see on the surface.
It's like how acupuncture points are believed to connect to energy pathways in the body.
Exactly, it's a similar concept. And get this, he uses Teotihuacan as a prime example, saying it wasn't built randomly at all.
Oh, I'm sure the location has something to do with the ley lines or some kind of energetic grid, right? A lot of ancient sites are said to be built on them.
That's exactly what he's suggesting. He says its location was very intentionally chosen to align with one of these powerful energy points on Earth.
So ancient civilizations knew about these energy spots, and they considered them important enough to build their entire cities around.
Apparently so. And it
Yeah.
gets even wilder. Meister Kinich Ahau suggests that some mountains aren't even natural formations. He thinks they're actually artificial.
Hold on. Artificial mountains? Like
Right.
somebody just decided to pile up a bunch of rocks and said, boom, mountain.
Yeah.
How would that even work?
Yeah, the how is still a bit of a mystery. I mean, I can barely fold a fitted sheet. But Meister Kinich Ahau says that these beings from Earth's distant past, they had this incredibly advanced understanding of Earth's energies. They weren't messing around.
Right. So they could build mountains.
Yeah.
And they built these mountains for a very specific purpose, right? To mark these important energy points.
Like a giant do not disturb sign for the planet's energy grid.
Exactly. But what were they so worried about?
Well, he suggests that these energy points were crucial to Earth's balance, and these beings didn't want future civilizations accidentally building on top of them, messing up the flow.
Makes sense. Wouldn't want to disrupt the planet's energy flow. But you know, if these beings were so advanced, why not just leave a note?
Right, or like carve a message in stone.
Exactly. Why go through the trouble of building a whole mountain?
He actually addresses that. Maestro Kinich Ahau figures those notes and carvings, they would have been lost or destroyed or just plain forgotten over time.
Oh yeah, for sure. The things disappear, especially after thousands of years. But a mountain?
A mountain's a little harder to miss.
Okay, yeah, that tracks. I'd love to have been in the room when they were pitching that idea, though. Just imagine trying to explain to your boss why you need to build a mountain.
Can you imagine? Yeah, we need more rocks. This energy vortex is serious business.
Talk about a tough sell. But that brings up another question. If knowledge of these energy points faded over time, how do we even know about them now?
Right. Did someone stumble across the ancient blueprints for the planetary energy grid?
I'd love to get my hands on those.
Me too. But it wasn't quite that simple. Maestro Kinich Ahau suggests that beings had to return in different eras.
Return. So they check in on us every few millennia or so, make sure we haven't messed things up too badly.
Something like that. But it wasn't just about checking in. They had to relocate the points sometimes. Maybe the continent shifted. Who knows?
Or we built a parking lot over a major energy vortex.
Oh, it happens. But sometimes they even had to dismantle what was built there.
You mean like take apart a mountain?
If it was interfering with the energy flow, yeah.
Wow. So we've got beings returning to Earth, doing a bit of cosmic landscaping to keep the planet's energy in check. That's quite a responsibility. But how can we tell if the mountain we're looking at is natural or one of these ancient energy beacons.
And does it even matter to us today as we're going about our lives? I mean, it's fascinating to think about, but...
Right, right. Those are the big questions.
And that gets to the heart of how Master Kinich Ahau's teachings can be applied to our lives.
I'm all ears.
He doesn't give us this, like, guidebook for identifying artificial mountains, unfortunately, but he encourages us to look at all mountains differently.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But how? How do we actually do that?
To sense their energy, to feel their presence.
To recognize them as more than just inert piles of rock.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but how do we actually do that?
Mm.
Do we need to go on a vision quest to the Himalayas?
Or are there more, accessible ways to tap into this mountain energy?
I'm game for more accessible, unless you're offering to teleport me to the Himalayas for a quick energy boost.
Maybe next time. But Master Kinich Ahau actually talks about something a little closer to home, something we might not expect. Icebergs.
Icebergs. Now that's a curveball. I thought we were all about mountain vibes. What do giant chunks of ice have to do with all this?
He calls them Gaia's memory banks.
Gaia's memory banks. Okay, now I really want to know more.
It's pretty wild. He suggests that icebergs act like a giant thermostat for the planet, regulating Earth's internal temperature.
Keeping things cool.
Exactly. But it's more than that. He believes they also hold information, like actual memories of Earth's changes over millennia.
Hold on, are we talking about ice literally holding on to memories? Like information encoded in the ice crystals themselves?
That's the idea. It's a bit out there, but it's also kind of mind-blowing, don't you think?
It is. It makes you wonder about all the things we don't yet understand about, well, everything.
Right. And before you think it's totally bonkers, think about those ice core scientists study. They can tell us so much about past climates, volcanic eruptions, even ancient atmospheric conditions.
True, true. But that's science. We're talking about something a bit more mystical, right? Earth's memories, like some kind of planetary hard drive made of ice.
He doesn't really offer a scientific explanation. He presents it more as a spiritual concept,
Yes.
a way of understanding the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay, I can get on board with that. Yeah. But it does make you wonder, right? What happens when these icebergs melt at such an accelerated rate? Are we losing something more than just ice?
It makes you think. Are we losing those memories, that history? It's a question worth pondering, for sure.
Definitely adds another layer to the whole climate change conversation, doesn't it?
For sure.
But let's get back to mountains for a second. Maestro Kinich Ahau talked about sensing their energy, feeling their presence. Is he suggesting we can actually, communicate with mountains?
He is. He says mountains are alive, beings in their own right.
Just like us.
Just like us. And like any being, they respond to energy. It's not about using technology or anything like that.
It's about our intention.
Exactly. It's about understanding that we're not just visitors on this planet.
We're part of this huge interconnected web of energy.
Exactly. And mountains, they're plugged into that web in a big way.
So, hypothetically, if I wanted to test out this whole talking to a mountain thing, any advice? Should I bring an offering? Light some sage.
He doesn't mention anything specific like that.
Okay. But where do I even start?
He emphasizes that it's not so much about the words you use, it's more about the energy you bring to it.
So less about what I'm thinking and more about what I'm feeling.
Exactly. An open heart, not just an inquiring mind.
Got it. Less thinking, more feeling. But what about those of us who aren't hanging out in the shadow of Mount Everest every day?
Right. What about us city dwellers?
Are we just out of luck in the mountain wisdom department?
Not at all. And this is where things get really interesting. Master Kinich Ahau suggests we can actually become like mountains ourselves.
Hold up. Become mountains.
Not literally, of course. You don't need to start stockpiling granite.
Okay, good. My back is already starting to ache.
He's talking about our energy, our awareness. He explains that our bodies are actually designed to receive and transmit light.
We are.
Just like mountains, we're all energetic beings. We're constantly interacting with the energy around us, whether we realize it or not.
So what you're saying is we're all walking, talking, breathing mountains, walking, talking mountains. I kind of like the sound of that. We started with these grand, ancient, powerful mountains. Now we're finding out we might have a little bit of that mountain magic in us too.
It's all connected, right? And Master Kinich Ahau, he's big on this whole interconnectedness thing. He doesn't come right out and say, mountain within. But when he talks about our inner light, yeah, it's there.
It's like we each have this dormant volcano of energy inside us just waiting to erupt.
And the more we tap into that, the more we become like beacons ourselves, radiating positivity, influencing the world around us. you know.
It's a bit of a mind bend, but I'm going with it.
Yeah.
So instead of searching for some mystical mountaintop experience, we become the mountain.
There you go.
And by tapping into our own inner mountain,
Yeah.
we become part of that global energy network that Maestro Kinich Ahau kept mentioning.
Exactly. We become active participants in the whole system, contributing to the balance, the harmony of the planet.
So we're all connected. Mountains, icebergs, humans, all part of this massive energy exchange. Pretty wild stuff.
It really is.
But I have to ask, before we wrap things up here, any practical tips for tapping into all of this? Or are we just supposed to go out and hug a tree and hope for the best?
Well, hiking a tree is never a bad idea, but Master Kinich Ahau, he's big on spending time in nature.
Okay, no surprise there.
Yeah.
Getting out into the mountains, soaking up the energy.
Exactly. He says it can help raise our own vibration, which then, ripples outward.
So it's not just about us feeling good. It's about contributing to the greater good, too.
That's what he seems to be suggesting.
Right. So even a simple hike in the woods can be a powerful way to connect with ourselves and with the planet.
There you go. You don't necessarily have to climb Mount Everest to have a profound experience. Just being present in nature, appreciating its beauty, its power, that's where it starts.
Solid advice. And hey, if mountains can be so much more than we give them credit for, who's to say we can't be too?
Who knows what we're capable of, right?
No, exactly. So to our listener out there, we'll leave you with this. Maybe, just maybe, we're all capable of tapping into an energy and a wisdom that's far greater than we realize. And just like a mountain, we each have a unique and important role to play in the grand scheme of things. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.